Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. This one is going to be just some inking of a pencil drawing I already did. And it was just a sketch I was working on one day. I think it was before Halloween. I wanted to do something a little creepy, something a little weird. But as with most things, it got kind of lost in the endless pile of other projects. But then I found it again and I was like, oh crap, I have footage for that. So let's go ahead and put it on YouTube. So I have two schools of thought when I start inking something. I either like to draw an outline around the entire border. As you can see, I started on the top half here. Or else I like to start from the top down. You know, me being right-handed, I like to start on the top left, and that way, as I'm going down, I can actually see what I'm working on and see it as a more completed picture. I do apologize if this is a time lapse. I wanted to start doing more real-time videos to show you more technique, but I was able to zoom in on some of these more detailed areas so you can see a little bit better. I think with most projects that I talk about and do when it comes to inking over pencil is to start with the most important eye-catching areas. So for this particular piece, I'm starting off with the face and the chain just to get the most detailed areas done first. I always say if you mess up on the most detailed, hardest areas, and if you do them first, then you haven't wasted a lot of time. You can trace the drawing or go back and redo it and try the hardest areas again. But if you spend the whole time doing the rest of the drawing and come back to the face and it's all messed up because the face is a good eye-catching spot, it's really hard to come back from that. It's just a waste of time. Now, if you notice here, when it comes to inking things like all these chains, these links, they're not really like real chains. I'm not trying to focus on drawing every individual link. I'm just trying to draw lines that sort of reference the chain there. So if you notice, they're not perfect. None of them are. But when you draw so many links, like all wrapped around his arm there, it actually does give the impression and make sense. I mean, you get the fact that it's chains wrapped around his arm and chains draped around him. I think this is a very important step to consider when you're drawing. Even goes for these belt buckles too. They don't have to make perfect sense. They just have to look good as a whole instead of individual lines. When you step back from the drawing, as long as the lines represent what you're looking for, it doesn't have to be perfectly detailed. And you'll find that's the case in a lot of comic book art. The pen that I'm using for the majority of this line work is a .3. And it's just really versatile. It's not too small and it's not too big, and you can get really fine lines with it. But you can also you double up on the lines to get a thicker border. If I do want to go thicker, or if I want to cover a lot of area quickly, I'll either go with a Sharpie or a .8 micron. Now there's some areas in here, like in the collar and on the folds in the clothing on the arm that's already finished, that I'm not fully committed to going in there with a Sharpie and coloring it all black. And I may do that, but as it goes right now, I do want it to be darker, so I do this just hatching, which is just a bunch of parallel lines with each other. That's going to give me the impression of a shadowy area without fully committing to blackening the whole area, which could be problematic if you make a mistake. So I like to just make small, deliberate lines, and then if I need to make them darker, I can. They can come back over with a bigger pen or come back over with a marker. But for this particular image, I did want it to have kind of a lighter look. I intend to color it, and I hope that video is going to be up soon. I'll try and talk about that as much as possible. So here I grab a .8 micron and I am going to add in a lot more shadows. So it's a bigger pen, puts down more ink, and since I already kind of laid out where I want the shadows to be, it's not too much of a problem to go back in there and redo those particular areas. Anyways, I've always been kind of fascinated with this character, the Batman who laughs. It's really just psycho and strange and hilarious all at the same time. But I hope you guys like this, and leave me a comment, tell me what you thought, and I will color it and we'll have that video up soon. Bye.